Allaince War, it is here. And if you struggle on day one, like I did, don't worry, because I got an expert here to explain it all to us so you and your alliance can go and kick some booty. This is a video you won't want to miss, guys, so you know the drill. Let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Allaince War, it is here, and I have on the line Aus10. What's up, brother? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Good, good. So, most of you guys know who he is already, but if you don't, he is a member of Hydra, and he created the very first Allaince War strategy guide. So instead of just talking about this, I wanted to bring him on. And let's hear it right from you, because you put together this guide and it is very, very good. I actually wish I read this a couple days ago. Went into the war today and we didn't know. We just kind of went in and did our own thing. And after the first hour, we kind of got what to do. But yeah, we didn't know what we were doing at first. So this is a very good guide. I want to thank you for making it. And I know you had a bunch of help that you wanted to give a shout out to before we get started with this. So
before we get started, I just want to thank Spicy Moki and Kazin and Elia and Wakanda Black. Thank you guys very much. Also, thanks to Pimp Toxie. He's my alliance leader. He helped me out a lot. Yes. So thank you guys.
Nice dude. Nice dude. So these guys were all part of the test server, so they have a little more experience with this mode than people like myself. I think I got some strategies down, but you know way better than me because of the experience factor. So let's start with the basics here. I'm looking at the blog post that you did, and there is a link down below, guys. So check that out. And he also has a Patreon, so make sure you check that out as well. I'll put that in the description down below. Let's start with the basics. The global rooms.
Yeah, so the armory room is going to buff all of your attacking allies. This is an extremely important room. Barracks is the same thing, but you're defending allies. This is probably the most important room. Medbay is 40% health defense, and Hangar is add deflect to all attacking allies. Global is a universal buff, so this affects all of your rooms.
So these are the rooms that you should be going after first, correct?
Right, for the most part.
Okay. But we got some points that are we got some rooms that have a lot more points. When would you suggest going after these rooms, the bridge and the reactor, both way more points?
I would suggest I think going after the armory first is the most important. If you can cripple your opponent's offense, especially when you have your barracks up still, it's going to give you a big boost.
Yeah. We learned that the hard way, guys.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are.
All right, after the armory, where do you think is next?
After that,
barracks or medbay?
Yeah, I would go barracks.
Barracks, and then medbay after that.
Well, the thing about that is, a 40% health boost looks good, but
sounds real good.
It's really not. I mean, we've all done Dark Dimension, and in Dark Dimension, there's big health boost in that, and it's really just, it just makes it longer.
Okay.
So after that, I would either go for one of the, depending on how the setup is, I would either go for one of the adjacent rooms, probably security, because I think defense down is kind of devastating if you get caught in a pickle.
Yeah.
Or if you can go for the bridge would be a great room to go for.
Yeah, that is nice when everybody starts with counter on that one as well, right? So the cargo bay is a little interesting because that has 8 random buffs. So that could be
that's
really
actually where I am.
It's a weird one. All right, so one thing I forgot to mention that I talked to you before we started recording. I really like this guide that you made because it leaves it kind of open-ended, because no two wars are going to be the same, guys. It's just you will see that it's going to be different for every war, and that's a good thing. I like that you left it open-ended.
Yeah.
So
there's no one way to do it.
Yeah,
there are multiple ways.
That is one of the main things I like about this war, this Allaince War mode. It's not static. No two wars are ever going to be the same. So you're going to have to adjust some of these strategies on the fly, guys, depending on the way that they set up their defense. And like you said, of course, it's based on their roster, right?
Definitely.
All right, so you list the defensive priorities. So this is what you think are the most important rooms for you to defend.
Right. So the barracks are going to give you a universal buff. That's obviously extremely important for defense.
Yes.
The bridge is a massive amount of points. If you lose your barracks, that's something I would go for.
Okay.
The armory, it's great for offense, but if you attack fast enough, the way that the Allaince War works is you want to attack kind of fast. It's a fast-paced game. So if you attack fast enough, you don't really have to defend your armory as much as the other rooms. So that's why it's kind of lower, even though it's an extremely important room.
Yeah, we've learned that as well. That first hour or two is probably the most important time in the whole war.
Definitely.
So, and then after the armory, you have the med bay listed for those health buffs.
The med bay, it's just not as important as, like, a 40% health boost is great, but it's just not as important as the other three.
Yeah, that sounded really good to me, but after playing this, I kind of agree that it's not as important as I once thought it was. So everybody not watching this video is probably going to go after that med bay.
Right.
So by watching this and looking at Oz's guide, you're going to have an advantage over them. And then that reactor for that 100 points. That's another one you want to defend.
Yeah, 100 points is big.
Right? All right, so on the offense, so these are the ones that you're going to be attacking, right?
This is what you want to find and you want to destroy it.
Slightly different order. And for that one, you have the armory listed first.
Yeah, if you can knock out the armory and you still have your barracks, you are at a huge advantage.
Yeah, that's
a huge advantage.
We know. All right, and then that barracks is listed second on this.
Yeah.
Guide.
You wanna if you can knock out the armory and the barracks and you still have both of them, it's game over. It's not even worth playing anymore, honestly.
It's like trying to play a game of chess without your queen, right?
Pretty much.
And then after that, you're going after the med bay for that health buff.
Yep. It just makes it easier.
And then you just...
And even then, you could switch bridge or med bay. I was actually thinking about that earlier.
Okay. Now, was this a consensus between all you guys that collaborated on this guide?
So originally, Mochi thought big points first and buffs second, but he actually PM'd me today and was like, hey, forget everything I said. Buffs first, big points second. And Elliot would agree. So what I made was kind of like a mix of what they both said, but for the most part, it was a very general consensus.
Yeah, that makes the most sense because to take a bunch of perspectives is probably the best way to do things. All right, offense strategies. You talk about that. This is what you, as a member Alliance leader, need to know. You're talking about time.
Time is important.
How? What? I was now just based on that one war, and we're not even finished with it. I thought the first 2 hours were the most important.
Definitely.
What, you would agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So we thought of something correctly today. All right, and then the defensive strategies. Where do you put your rooms? Now, I know you don't want to give out too many trade secrets here.
Right.
But there's one thing that you mentioned, not playing the turtle mode. So what is the turtle mode that you're talking about here in this blog post here?
So turtle mode is when you just go all in on defense. You have, let's just say you have 14 players going hard, and you kind of leave 8 or 10 or whatever to really handle your offense. If you do that, you're just going to get stuck. This was tested a couple times in Allaince Wars is what I was told, and every single time it didn't work.
So offense is way more important than the defense.
Definitely.
I think I would agree.
You want to protect your good rooms, but you want to leave enough for your offense.
Yeah, I think I'll use the. For me, I'd left out my meta teams for offense, and then I put everybody else on defense, and now I'm kind of struggling because after I got through those big wins, then I don't really have anything left. Roster utilization. All right, you got a couple different strategies here. Pick 10 players and get them to go defense, and everybody else focus on offense. You have another one with 8 players, and then you have one with the balance of offense and defense.
Yep.
What are the benefits and negatives for each of those strategies there?
So my alliance is doing the 10 players. We have 10 players playing hardcore defense, and the rest of us are doing offense. This so far has worked really well for us.
Okay.
we're kind of struggling on offense a little bit with the times and with everyone being a little busy and stuff like that. Yeah. But defensively, we're doing really well. I think I like the pick 8 players more because it leaves a little more open for offense, which I think is important. And as long as you're defending the good rooms, you should be fine.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I would think is the defensive players should be the guys that can't get on right away to do that initial attack in the first couple hours, right?
Yeah, that's important to consider.
And then you got the balance, the offense and defense strategy. So kind of the best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm. Do what you can with your account, basically.
Yeah, do the best you can. And obviously, this some of these are going to vary based on how big your alliance is, how big your collection power of your alliance is, and all that. So, this I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. I like that you left this very fluid and not just one strategy, because how fun would that be if everybody used the same exact strategy all the time, right?
It'd be just like raids.
Yeah,
it'd be just like raids.
Just like raids or some of these other war modes that other games that I played have had, and it's just the same thing every time. Gets old. So I do like.
It'd be like Galaxy of Heroes, and that's exactly what we don't want.
Like Galaxy of Heroes, and there's a similar mode. It's a three alliance battle and future fight, but I played that one as well.
Cool. Okay.
I like that one, but it did get old after a while.
Yeah.
Allaince War store. There's some good stuff in here. What is your general thoughts of this store? I'm pretty happy with it.
I think it's great. I think it's just overall a great store. It's great for new players. It's great for people who are kind of in the middle, and it's really good for people who are kind of toward the end or looking to get Ultron or something like that. Yeah. So this is great.
A lot of great gear there, and the characters there.
The characters are awesome.
There's 2 that I really want to focus on right now. Carnage, because we need him for Shuri, the legendary Shuri. And there's Pyro, for obvious reason. That Brotherhood team, best offensive team in the game right now.
By far.
My opinion, and very, very good. So you got some takeaways here. Communication. What is your... my alliances uses Discord. I know you guys use Discord.
Yeah.
What for the alliances that don't use Discord? What would you suggest?
I would suggest downloading Discord. That's number 1. You're not going to do well without it.
I think I would recommend it as well, because the end game just doesn't make it possible, and you can't tag people and ping people when they're not in the game. Time frame. We got, I think it's 4 choices of the time frame, right?
Right.
So, pretty obvious. Pick the one that works best for the majority of your alliance. You're in a global alliance. I'm in a global alliance, and not everybody's going to
attack more in is what you need to pick.
I'm sorry. What is that?
If you can attack early in any of them, that's the one you need to pick.
Yeah, I think it's the one that the most people could be on in that first couple hours. That's makes the most sense. Buffs. Ooh, this is one that I didn't take into account when I was attacking. Think about the buffs when you're sorting the rooms, and I guess this goes for attacking too, right?
Definitely, defense and offense.
So the defense part of this is probably left to one person in the alliance leader or one of the captains.
Right.
But for offense, you really need to think about this.
Right.
5 most important rooms to defend and build around that. We talked about that already. Know your rosters. What would you suggest for people about that?
So it's kind of based around the part that not everyone's going to have a big account.
Yeah.
So like us, we have 2.5, 2.4, whatever million accounts. But for most people, let's just assume they have like a 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not going to make sense for people like that to put down 8 defenses or save 8 offensive teams, which is what I would recommend. But for people like that, it's just not what you should do.
Shoot, I have a 2.3 million roster, and I think I put 5 on defense, and the rest of them I left on stuff because I wanted to save some for offense. So even bigger accounts, you still want to. You might want to use some of those shield guys.
I think I put 2 teams on defense, and I'm leaving 8 for offense. I'm an offensive player, so that's kind of what I'm doing.
All right, so energy management. Start off with 2 energy, max of 5. You get another energy to attack every 3.5 hours, and you could get more in the Blitzer. What is your best tips for the best use of energy?
Don't waste your attacks. You get 8 free ones, and the rest of them are kind of expensive. Also, on top of that, I totally didn't mention this in the blog, and I 100% should have. Force quitting is important. It's kind of similar to raids. If you force quit, or if you press quit in the app during a fight, it saves your team.
Yeah, I noticed some of the other lines that we were playing. I think some of them were doing that in their first couple battles.
So if you are planning on buying more energy, that's a great strategy that you can use.
All right, and knowing what you need in the Allaince store. I think that's kind of a little more individualized based on what you need in your roster, but obviously plan smart for that, get the characters that you want, and get the gear that you need for your roster. All right, so I really enjoyed this guide. I thought you did a really good job here, you and your fellow collaborators. I wish that I read this before we actually started the war. I wish the rest of my alliance read this before we started the war, actually going with a strategy. We kind of figured it out after about the first hour and a half, but I think by then it was too late. So thank you for making this. Before you go, is there anything that you want to promote? Anything else you want to add to this discussion here?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of good stuff on here. If you're ever looking for any information or advice or some fun theory crafting, I love the theory craft. Yeah. I've also got, in a couple weeks, I'm probably going to have a better guide out for Allaince War.
2.0, baby.
Yeah, that's right. With some better suggestions, some better strategies, and that's actually going to have its own page on the blog.
Nice.
And if you've ever been on here, you'll notice I have a T4 ability and team.
I actually was on there earlier when I was looking at this guide, and I did see that T4 ability upgrade, and I actually used that to upgrade some of my Brotherhood in this correct order. So I want to thank you for that too. You guys had some good advice on this page here, brother.
Yeah, that's another great one.
All right, so make sure you check out his site, guys. As someone like myself, I like to do videos. There's other people that like to do videos. Some people like to stream. Some people like to do podcasts. But as far as the written form, as far as a blog post, I think you're the only one that really does a good job in a written form. So good job on this site.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one that does it in English. I know there's a couple of guys. They've actually talked to me, but they're from Japan or they're from France or something like that.
It would explain why I haven't heard of them, so that makes sense. All right, well, once again, thank you, Aus10, for coming on. Make sure you check out the links down below to check out his channel. Make sure you check out my links as well. I got a Patreon. I got some merch on the ValleyFlyin site, and if you want to play on your computer, download BlueStacks. The channel does get credit. Smash like if you like this video. I will see you guys next time. ValleyFlyin out!